let's talk about the comic pasta thing. There was this whole ruse about beef between Enzo Asha and Olitan, which, as I said on Facebook a few days ago, this is just something planned. Now it turns out they were hyping a sort of movie or documentary or something they want to put out, which was obviously it sounded curated because you know how like the way they did it was just like fishy. So, but you caught wind with Comic Pasta. Take us on that journey.
Well, Comic Pasta is a seasoned comedian, award-winning, very talented guy. He knows how to make people laugh. No lie. I enjoyed the track that he did, Haina Mambo. Watched it more than twice, shared it, told people to go and watch it. I loved that song. But what I didn't like was a certain interview that he did afterwards. And I watched it excitedly because I thought he was doing that in jest, like the song. I thought he was doing a parody, kind of like the same way that you can watch a Kevin Hart item where he's doing a rap parody. I think he's got so many rap parodies, Kevin Hart, if you look him up. Or there's so many comedians who've done parodies, Lonely Island and so forth, right? Trolling rap music, and that's not new, right? And that's always fun to watch. But when I watched this interview now, his energy, I was seeing that he's condescending to people that do hip hop. He doesn't value what we do. He thinks we're inferior to what he does with the way that he was framing it. He was framing hip hop as if it's an inferior art, and you know, from another artist like him, he's in Zim comedy. Zim comedy and Zim hip hop to me are the same, because most people, when they say they're going to watch a comedy, how many people say that they're going to watch a comedy and they mean Zim comedy? It's very rare, right? People don't take Zim comedy seriously in the same manner that they don't take Zim hip hop seriously. And because of that, when I was in Harare or when I was still in Zim, I used to mingle with people from Zim comedy. You can see them even in my friends list. They comment the Upepe Chules, the Kadems, the Tinayes, including him. I went for a workshop where they were teaching comedy theory, and I was sitting next to him, and he's a veteran. He knows his comedy. He knows all the types of comedy. I was lucky to sit next to him because he'd be tipping me off on what was happening in that lecture. It was a workshop organized by Doc Vikela and Simba the Comic King, and it was amazing, right? Of course, there was Pamberi Trust as well. Pamberi Trust sponsored that session. Tendekai Tati was there. I'm trying to remember the people that were there, but it was a good environment. So what I'm trying to say is I walk with people that are in Zim comedy, and I thought, of all people, Zim comedy people know our struggle because their struggle is our struggle. Of course, he has made some money from comedy. Him, Pastor Comic, right? Comic Pastor. He's made money from comedy. He's made clout from comedy. Just like in hip hop, maybe Stana has made money from hip hop, or he has made clout. But the average person in hip hop is still struggling to do that. So that's the same thing. It's not like Zim comedy is any better than Zim hip hop, because in Zim comedy, he's like the Stana of Zim comedy. And he blew up late as well, because at the time that I met him at that workshop, he wasn't even famous yet. So I just saw him. He wasn't famous. I wasn't starstruck, right? It was in the next year that he did a certain skit, and then it accidentally blew up. So I met him in 2015, but then in 2016, he did a Shamu skit about dancehall people, and it blew up, and ever since then, he's never fallen. But he was already older than I currently am, I believe, if you do the calculations and so forth, right? So for him, even again, at the time that he blew up, it took him so long in his career to blow up. Why is he hating on young guys that are way younger than him, that haven't blown up, and telling them that they won't succeed, and saying that what they're doing is a waste of time? Because I believe that anybody, when they're doing their passion, everything that you do, you put your energy. So if somebody doesn't respect what you do, they don't respect your energy. So I felt like he disrespected us at that level, and that's why I had to I had to call him out. And if you notice, if you go on that post where he replied, my first reply was actually respectful. I actually tried to remind him of the time that he was like all those struggling artists that he was making fun of. But in terms of comedy, comedy is supposed to be funny. There's dark humor, there's everything. There's a difference. So the song, I don't have a problem with it, right? But I've got a problem with the energy that he put out when he actually did an interview where he had an opportunity to say, no, guys, you can go and look at hip hop. You get what I'm saying? Because when Kevin Hart, even if Kevin Hart does a joke about Jay-Z in a comedy sketch or something that's supposed to be a comedy sketch or a parody, when he gets onto a real interview on Breakfast Club, he's not going to say, nah, hip hop is whack. He's going to say, no, I actually did that because I want you guys to pay attention to hip hop. I actually did that because hip hop is something you should be paying attention to, and I'm a fan of Jay-Z.